Hey there, comic book fans. It's Rusty again from Collector Auctions, and in today's episode, we are going to go over more books that I picked up from Hello Comics down in Charlottesville, Virginia. Now, this trip was only 3 weeks after the last trip where I spotlighted them on a video, and I did not intend to go back again until probably December, but maybe even November. But I ended up going down on a trip, and if you saw my last video, you know I was heading down to West Virginia after I went to a small comic book show. And I had not intended to go back to Hello Comics that soon, but they had advertised that they had a big giant batch of probably most of the first 25 issues of Mad Magazine. And as you know, back then it was a comic book, and including first issue, second issue, third, fourth, sixth, seventh. I mean, they had all these early issues, and some of them, those early ones had some big price tags, especially the first issue. But they only had it in a small photo in a post with all of them pretty much together, and I decided if I get a chance, I'm going to go down and I want to take a look at those books. Man, to get a Mad Magazine 1, 2, 3, some of those early issues, just fantastic depending on condition. I'd have to take a look at them in person. And I wasn't sure what was going to be left. But I decided that since I had this trip planned to go back down to my house in West Virginia, let's go ahead and run by. I had Instagram messaged them and I asked them, I said, hey, what's left? Because when they advertise this and they put these out for people to actually purchase, by the time I got there, it was 5 days later. I wasn't sure what was going to be there, and I didn't want to, honestly, it's a great shop, but I wasn't going to run by just to go through the shop again. I really just wanted to go by and see what they had left on this Mad Magazine. They said they had most of them still there. I think issue number 2 had already been gone, but honestly, number 3 was really high on my list. Number 1 was out of my price range, but number 3, maybe number 4, number 5, it depended on the condition. Well, set back, I'm going to show you some video. I actually shot some video from down there. In fact, I thought I was going to add that video to the video from the comic book show that I went to on the previous episode. I thought I was going to combine those. So it's going to be a little out of sequence. So I'm going to show you that part of the video I filmed right before I went into the show. And I probably will, went into the shop. It will probably repeat some of the things that I just said here in this intro. But hopefully it won't be too disjointed and you guys get the point and everything. But definitely before you get started though, hit that like button, slap subscribe, click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these episodes I put out every Monday and Friday at 10 a.m. There, done with sales pitch. Sit back, watch this part of the video, and then I'll come back and I will show you what I ended up picking up and what we did about those Mad Magazines. All right, everybody, as you can see, I am still in the car. I am actually headed back to Maryland after a quick trip down to West Virginia to do some repair work on my home down there. And I decided to go ahead and stop back in again in as little as 3 weeks to Hello Comics in Charlottesville, Virginia. Now, I wasn't planning on coming back so soon, but they had advertised on their Facebook page and other social media accounts that they had got this beautiful collection of early Mad Magazine. And I took a look at what they had to offer. They had the very first issue. They've got most of the top 10 up to the top 25 books. And I was curious. I knew I couldn't come when they were going to release this to the public. That was on the Friday before this trip. So I knew I was already going to miss out on some of these. As you definitely got some collectors who would be interested in stuff like this. And I figured, okay, I'll come down and I will take a look and see what's left. And I had reached out on Instagram. I direct messaged them, and they did have some of these still available. But again, at this point, this is a couple days later, even after I had done that. So I'm on my way back to Maryland. We're stop by. We're going to check out and see if they've got any of those Mad Magazines left, and if I'm actually interested in picking any of those up. So stay tuned, and I will show off what I got after I get back home. All right, guys, so we're finally back. We're in Maryland. Obviously, I was in Maryland as I'm filming this, and the intro as well. Now, I didn't do any video at the store. Just like in my last Hello Comics feature, I didn't do any video in there because I've done video in there before, and it's most of my time spent going through the boxes and bins and everything. And so, yes, I went in there. I immediately went to the counter where I figured that the Mad magazines were, and they had issue number 1 sitting there, number 3. They had some of the other early ones, and then those were inside the counter because those things, they had a $1,900 price tag on that issue number 1, $200 price tags on some of those first 10 issues, and you turn around on their display rack right behind you, they had some of the other issues, and the prices definitely went down from there. Now, to be quite honest, I wasn't too interested in a lot of the later issues. I was specifically looking at number 3. And number 1 was going to be out of my price range, but number 3, depending on the condition, I thought was going to be worth picking up. And so that's what I did. I focused on that particular issue, and I had them bring it out. And you know it was old. Obviously, it's old. And you could see just in the bagging board in the counter that there was definitely some wear around the edges. But what was going to be the condition of the pages inside? Was the centerfold still attached? Was the cover still attached? Anything like that. So I had them bring it out, and I didn't want to touch it. I let them take it out. They turned it over in the back, and immediately on the back, you could see how brown and how brittle the pages were. And I'd asked him about the centerfold, so he flipped through. He found the centerfold. It was fully attached. Pages looked like they were all there. And then we opened up the inside back cover, and you could see a giant stain that had seeped through the cover to the point where you could actually see the ink from the outside part of the cover. You're looking on the inside, you could see the ink from the inside. From the inside. And that stain head went through the pages in the book, and I'm sitting there going, they had a $200 price tag on that, and I'm going there, and I'm doing my research, and I'm watching that condition where I was hoping it would at least be in that 60, 50 range where there'd still be enough room to get something like that graded and be worth it, to the point where I don't know if it'd even be worth grading at that point. Other than preservation, it probably should be graded and preserved at that point, because these pages are starting to look pretty brittle. And that's a great book. If you ever read some of those early Mad magazines, I particularly like number 3, but I ended up passing on it, and I ended up passing on all of them. And as I said, I wasn't really interested in some of the later issues. It was only those first handful of issues that I was really interested in. And I'm sitting there going, well, I still have a great comic book shop here, so let's check out the wall. Let's check out the great bins. And if you watched my last video, and I will put a link to that in the description and at the end of the video today, you can go back and watch that. It's only a few episodes ago, guys. They had, the way they do their back issues is just like a lot of shops, everything's alphabetized, but there is something about their shop where it's very organized. I mean, once you understand their system, they have 3 bins. Every cabinet has 3 bins on top, 3 in the middle, and 3 in the middle and 3 in the bottom. And it goes alphabetically left to right, top to bottom, and then picks up in the next cabinet. And they break down the books pretty good, where some of the minor titles are actually right there too. And so it's fun digging through there. I really should remember to bring a list of some of the more relevant books I'm looking for run fillers, but a lot of times it's just fun. I'll bounce back and forth at the shop, and I will see what I can find. But I actually did find some books on the wall as well, and we'll go over, let me just show you what I ended up picking up here, and I'll show you, I ended up picking up one wall book, and it's the biggest key in this batch. But that doesn't mean I didn't pick up some really good books here. So I'm just going to run through these. We're not going to go over prices, and we're not going to go over values, although I will talk about the very last book just a little bit. So as I said, I found some run fillers just for fun. And these things, a lot of times, will be super cheap. Things in here, a lot of these will be $1. And the condition's really good, or $2.99 or $4.99. I mean, prices are really good on some of these, and sometimes the conditions will surprise you how good they are, and that's what I did again in this video. This is Black Widow number 2. And then I ended up picking up some more Invaders books. Now, I picked up a lot of Invaders books last time, but they were strictly key books. This time, I'm there and I'm going, well, let's look at the other books and see what the conditions are. I was only focused on keys the last time. Let's focus on the other ones. So I picked up issues 27. There's 26. 34. 36, and then number 25. And I remember I picked up the first appearance of the Scarlet Scarab in the last one. This, I believe, is the second appearance, and I started to look up some of these to see if there was any shocking prices on some of these non-keys. Surprisingly, this got sold here in September as a 9.8 for $238. And over the last year, it's gone from $390 to $156. I've got them written down right here. Now, a 9.6 of this even went for about $100 back in December. So this book actually had some surprising value. I think it had to do with the Moon Knight show, probably more than anything. Wasn't that one of the characters in that? You can let me know. But honestly, I didn't buy it for value. I bought it for these on condition, but more as run fillers. All of a sudden, I'm trying to complete a run of Invaders. I don't know where that came from. I didn't think I'd ever do that, to be honest. But now, this is going to be a thing. Picked up some more issues of Superman, Batman, Michael Turner cover with Supergirl. That's number 19. And then this variant cover with Wonder Woman, number 10. Here, let me set the books down. This is a key. This is Brightest Day, number 4. This is the first appearance of the next Aqualad. What is his name? I can't remember his name. Guys, remind me. What is something Hyde? Is that right? I cannot remember. But I did get this book signed by Jeff Johns and the artist. What's his artist's name? Tomasi. I got both of them to sign this book when I was at Baltimore Comic-Con this year. Here is Young Avengers Children's Crusade number 1. I don't think this is the valuable version of this. I think I picked this up before. And most of these, again, I'm paying either $1 to $2.99 for the most part on all of these. And I'm getting pretty close to finishing this run. I've talked about this when I've been picking up these at different shows. I started off with buying the first issue of this 12-issue maxi series, and then I've just been picking up stray copies of the next 11 issues. And I think I'm down to I think I only need one issue left. It's a Shazam cover that I need. But I picked up issues number 2 of Justice, number 3, number 4. There's number 6. Number 7. That's a beautiful Hawkman cover. Hawkman was always one of my favorite characters, but I really, really enjoyed the character when Jeff Johns was writing Hawkman with Rags Morales as the artist and Michael Baer as the inker. And those storylines, those first 25 issues or so, just absolutely one of my favorite comics. And even after that, when they weren't working on the book, I still maintained getting Hawkman for a long time after that. Because I enjoyed the book so much, in a way, I enjoyed that character so much, I just kept buying the book for a long time and finally dropped it. But this is just an absolutely gorgeous Alex Ross cover right there. And then issue number 10. So as I said, I think I'm pretty close to needing just one more issue of Justice. I think that's been a fun little thing just to get these. And most of these I've literally paid $1 a piece for, which is pretty good considering cover price was $3.50 a piece on these. So that's actually pretty good. And then I actually picked up a graphic novel. And I only did this because all of a sudden I've seen this book pick up on top 10 videos. For some reason, there's no key significance apparently, but all of a sudden it's picked up for various reasons, but nobody seems to know why. But this is Void Indigo, and trying to think. I cannot remember the video where I've seen these. I've seen a couple of these pop up, and this is not in the near mint condition. There is like a little crease down through here. I haven't opened it up to take a book, but for $6, I went ahead and picked that up more to be able to get it and talk about it like I am right now than anything. And I'd be interested to see what all the hubbub is about on this. And then, here, I'll just leave that there. And then I finally got down to, I was around the X-Men boxes, and I'm just kind of perusing through. There were definitely some, who was it? X-23 covers, some Psylocke covers by Chris, is it Bachalo? I never can remember pronounce his name. There were some things like that, what's the artist? Oh, God, I can't remember the artist. Greg Land. Sorry, it took me a second there. Greg Land covers, and I found some things that were actually can be pretty valuable if you get graded. I was going through the X-Men, and the conditions weren't as good as I would like. And I'm just like, okay, I need to wrap it up. But I happen to be standing from the X Factor box, and it's a box I've gone through before. And I ended up picking this up, the Angel cover number 15 here, Walt Simonson, Louise Simonson book. And surprisingly, this book has dropped significantly, even a 9.8. I don't have the price in front of me, but I was kind of shocked when I looked it up on Go Collect what a 9.8 is going for. Honestly, this is a book. At one point, I went ahead and picked it up today because it was in great condition, knowing in the past it's been a pretty decent 9.8 value if you can get that. And I looked it up, and it was well under $100. Well under $100. And I'm going, Christ, I should just buy a 9.8 and hold on to it. It's a better value than spending $8 on this. Kind of surprising. That was a little disappointing. But I ended up, the last book I've got here, I ended up picking up. It was on their wall, and I asked them to get it down, even though I could have reached up and got it. It's they have them pin tacked to a pegboard on the wall. Not the comic itself, the bag is pin tacked, so it's not damaging the comic book. But this is a book that I got signed down at Heroes Con this year. I ended up getting it graded, witnessed, and all that. 9.8 came back. It's actually a pretty valuable book. It's a key comic book. Relatively new compared to some of these other books that I've even shown on here. Some of the books, not all of them. But it's a big book. And I was shocked to see the price on this. And this price, I've literally watched over the last 2 years, just gone from a raw book where it was a $120, $130 raw near mint book. I thought I was getting deals when I was buying them at $100. I thought I was getting deals when I was buying them at $90. I picked up one here. I think the one I got signed when I took it down to Charlotte, I think I ended up paying about $60 for it. And even with 9.8 is going to make the money on that, definitely. But I was like, wow, the book keeps dropping. Why is this book dropping? Well, they had this book for $45, and I'm going, what's the deal? This is amazing. This is the first appearance of Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier. It's a key book, and this book just keeps dropping. You've got this Brubaker story. You've got this wonderful Steve Epping artwork on here. I mean, just absolutely stunning artwork. I mean, man, the whole run by Brubaker and Epting on this was just fantastic, to the point where I think Captain America could run for a long time with. It's been running for a long time with a lot of subpar stories, because this run by them was so good. I mean, it made everybody just love Captain America again, and just remind them how great a book this was. And a lot of people are standing on shoulders of giants after this book, and the book has not been anywhere near as good. But, well, the Alex Ross covers have been fantastic. What am I talking about? That part's good, but the stories, There's been some good things, but it's just not as good as what this run was. So I'll leave it at that. You guys can let me know what you think about that comment. I don't know. Anyway, that was everything I picked up at Hello Comics on this most recent trip. Definitely leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think of the books. What do you think about me bypassing on those Mad magazines? If you guys want to look at it, check out Hello Comics on their social media account. You can go back on Instagram or Facebook and you can see the photos from those Mad magazines. And if they still have them, you can reach out to them. Definitely, they'll let you know if they still have them. And definitely go to the shop. Go take your time. Go through the shop. Have a big pull list because, guys, you are going to easily pick out handfuls of comics, no problem. They've got so much stuff. Love stopping there. I love stopping and getting my Raising Cane's. That's about a mile away. And stopping and getting my Dairy Queen, my Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Blizzard on my way home. But that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed everything. I will be back next... Actually, I don't even know what day this is appearing. So I will just join me for the next episode. It'll be in a few days, whatever it is. And we'll talk about... comic books. Let's talk about comic books. And I don't know what the show is going to be, but you know it's going to be good. Definitely let me know, though, if there's anything on the channel you ever are interested in. Just reach out to me at collectorauctions@yahoo.com. DM me on Instagram. Those are the easiest way to get in touch. But if you want to see what I currently have for sale, definitely check out my eBay store or my Shortbox page. Both those links are in the description. So, guys, that's enough of the sales pitch. I'm out of here. I'll see you for the next episode. But remember, every comic has a story.